Hey, 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 hey. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Come on in the room. Good to see everybody coming in. It's time for another episode of
Marriage Monday, Marriage Monday.
Yes, yes. This is um that Bone of My Bone Ministries, which we affectionately call BOMB. And you should turn to your loved one, your spouse, and tell them you are the bomb, baby. You are the bomb. Yes, so this is yes. So we are so grateful to be back here for another episode of Marriage Monday. Um, this is the time when we are here to help strengthen, especially marriages, and ultimately, if we're strengthening marriages, we're going to be strengthening the family unit as a whole. And then, of course, we're going to be strengthening our communities and the world all around us. So it's the ripple effect. So we got to start with that, with our marriages. I mean, of course, we need to start with ourselves individually, but also we need to strengthen our marriages as well, so that we can have a stronger society, and we can lead people, lead our go into this world strong and not weak. Amen. And so if you know anybody who needs strengthening in their marriage, or even if they don't need strength, just they can come in and they can also be a part of the conversation and possibly help someone else who's on this journey in their relationship. So it doesn't matter if you're married, single, divorced. If you're thinking about being in a relationship, come on in the room. And we're going to have a great time. We're going to have a great conversation today. And you have a birthday or anniversary, we would love to celebrate with you. So drop your date in the comments, and we definitely celebrate with you. And we say happy birthday, happy anniversary to you.
Happy birthday, happy anniversary. How does my sound come across to you?
It sounds fine.
Is
It
it
sounds good.
yours is coming across a little staticky and kind of, I don't know. So that's why I'm just trying to make sure that are you hearing what I'm hearing? All right, what are you using for your sound?
It's a I'm using like the speaker phone part. I mean,
What?
it's the phone, the phone. I don't have it on Bluetooth or anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I was just
Is it
trying.
still sounding staticky?
Not as bad as it was, and then it was just the volume of it too.
Is it low?
No, it was high.
I need to turn it down.
Maybe, yeah, maybe just a little bit.
Uh,
Yeah,
Maybe that's a little better. I don't know if that helped her.
that did. That's a little bit better. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Can you understand what I'm saying though?
I could hear you. Yeah, it's just I don't know if it's where you are or whatever, but it was just coming across as loud as a little bit of a static thing going on. But I can understand you.
Okay.
Let me know if you I don't and let me know if you're having any issues with the sound for me because I'm riding back. So
You sound good. You sound good.
okay.
You're on the road. You're on the road, and
Yeah.
I miss you. We
Yeah.
we've been apart.
Yeah, I miss you too. Yeah, yeah. Looking forward to seeing you soon.
Yay.
Yay.
Well, y'all, we just had a little technical difficulty, but we are definitely ready to get started with this conversation. Um, Please like and share this, whether you're tuning in now or if you're going to be tuning in later. Um, Share and like this out with others. It's going to be an amazing conversation. Wow. Do you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, just thank you for joining in. And as you come in, say hello. We love to dialogue with you. We love to see your comments. We love for you to interact with us. It's a blessing. It encourages us when we have interaction. And when we can see your comments and know that you're, engaging and enjoying the conversation, because it's not just us getting up here talking. We're of course we're sharing information, but we're also gleaning and learning as we share and growing
Mhm.
as we share. So it's so important to have that dialogue and to have you to um, commune and talk with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are we talking about today?
So we started out last week talking about from a book, an amazing book that was recommended to us by our bishop at our church, and the title of this book is called "Love and Respect." Love and Respect. Awesome book. If every person in a relationship who's thinking about being married, or wondering what in the world is going on in my relationship, why am I struggling? This book will get you from where you are to where you want to be, where you need to be. Amen. So, um, we talked last week. It's called Love and Respect. The love he desperately needs, the love she most desires. And this is by Dr. Emerson Eggerichs. And he's an amazing author and an amazing um, expositor on relationships. He and his wife do an amazing job. They have a lot of resources. They also have a workbook. Do you have your workbook? No, you don't. There's a workbook that also accompanies this book, Love and Respect. There it is. Yeah, she got it this week. So this is the workbook, so you can follow along and actually do the assignments that are go in line with the chapters that are in the book. And so last week we talked about um, we went over, the introduction of the book, and we got into talking about the crazy cycle. And I'm not going to do a big old recap, but the crazy cycle is what we mainly talked about last week. The crazy cycle has to do with, and it goes like this: without love, she reacts without respect, and without respect, he's going to react without love. And we see it all the time. But a lot of times, in our society, we I think we put an umbrella of we put everything under the umbrella of love, and then love a lot of times has to do with how I'm feeling, and not and respect is kind of like something that's like a derivative of love versus a actually putting love and respect actually along the same lines, and relating it to the woman needing love and the man needing respect. And so that's what we're talking about during these sessions. We're going to be really diving into some of the chapters, and can you still hear me?
I can still hear you. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. We're going to be diving into this because this is what's causing a lot of the risks in relationships, causing a lot of risks in marriages, is because there's a lack of understanding where it relates to what the true need is for the man and what the true need is for the woman. So the crazy cycle is what we talked about last week. And so we're going to kind of get more into that. Um, the three parts of this book has to do with stopping the crazy cycle conflict, initiating the energizing cycle of change, and the third thing is enjoying the reward cycle of new passion. And we talked last week, and we talked about how this is the season for relationships that are going to have a new passion. So if you're if you're believing God for changing your relationship for the better, let just begin to prophesy that over your own relationship, over your own marriage now, that we have a new passion. I have a new passion. And you can type that in the comments. We have new passion in our relationship. We have a new passion in our marriage.
Amen.
So yeah, that's where we are now. So we're going to talk about we're going to go into chapter 1 this week, and
Amen.
it's going to
So
be a little bit of reading. Um,
can we go back to, so if you missed last week, and as he Lennell was talking about a new passion, he released that prophetic word over marriages. So if you want to go back and listen to the word that God gave him for marriages last week, please do. It was on actually Thursday on Faith Talk Live, on the Faith Talk Live segment on Thursday. A new
oh yeah.
passion in marriages. And God gave him that prophetic word to release. So go back and check that out. But I wanted to quickly recap on the crazy cycle again, and let's look at that so that people can have a clear understanding of the crazy cycle. So here in that cycle, it's a cycle because it's continuous. Because one is is it's like a ripple effect, and is a resulting effect of the other. So without love, she reacts. Without love, we as women, we react. And without respect, men react. And you have that continuous cycle because you're not getting anywhere. And it's the crazy cycle because it is absolutely crazy. Um, Without the love, without the love that's needed, you're not gonna get the wife that you want in the marriage. Without the love that she needs, you're not gonna get the wife that you want. So she's gonna be reacting in a way that looks like, who is this person that I married? And then without the respect that he needs, you're not gonna get the husband that you want, or that you even thought that you were getting in a marriage, because he's not gonna react in the way that he should be, or that you thought he should be. So you have this continuous cycle of crazy. And that's what it is. It's a
Mhm.
continual cycle of crazy, because neither person is getting what they need in the marriage to be the best versions of themselves. And if you understand marriage, and if you have been navigating marriage, and you understand, love really, really, really allows a woman to just feeling that love from a pure place, really just allows a woman to just flourish and blossom and grow and evolve into the best version of herself, the best version that she could be. Even God in his infinite wisdom tasked man with loving his wife as Christ loved the church. And so without respect, it's the same for with men. With respect, you just see them flourish and blossom and grow and develop into the man that they're needed to be. So when you don't have that, you have that continual cycle of crazy. That's why it's called the crazy cycle. So I just kind of wanted to just kind of give a little bit of background, because I think people needed to hear it. And sometimes people don't always go back and watch the previous
Mhm.
broadcast. If you do go back and look at Thursday's broadcast on Faith Talk Live, we delve into it. But just wanted to just kind of give you a background, since Lennell touched on it just a few minutes ago. And go ahead.
Very good, very good. Yes, please check that out, and then there'll be another Faith Talk Live coming this Thursday. Um, and yes, y'all check it out. So we're going to talk today about chapter 1. It's the title of chapter 1 is "The Simple Secret to a better marriage. And this is going to be very key to, I think, um, we got to think about what I think about when we're going about to read this part is, and you say this a whole lot, babe. You always say, your decisions don't just affect you.
Right.
Your decisions and the things that you do and how you respond to things doesn't just affect you. And so this kind of made me think about that when I was reading this first part. And so it's gonna be a little bit of reading, but it's interesting. So just stay with me. It starts off saying, how can I get my husband to love me as much as I love him? This was the basic question I heard from wife after wife who came to me for counseling during the almost 20 years I pastored a growing congregation. My heart broke for wives as they wept and told me their stories. Women are so tender. Can anybody agree with that? On many occasions, I sat there with tears rolling down my cheeks at the same time I became irked with husbands. Why couldn't they see what they were doing to their wives? Was there some way I could help wives motivate these husbands to love them more? I felt all this deeply because I had been a child in an unhappy home. Listen to this. He says, my parents divorced when I was 1. Later, they remarried each other, but when I was 5, they separated again. They came back together when I was in 3rd grade, and my childhood years were filled with memories of yelling and unsettling tension. I saw and heard things that were permanently etched into my soul, and I would cry myself to sleep at times. I remember feeling a deep sadness. I wet the bed until age 11 and was sent off to military school at age 13, where I stayed until I graduated. As I look back on how my parents lived a life of almost a constant conflict, I can see the root issue of their unhappiness. It wasn't hard to see that my mom was crying out for love, and my dad desperately wanted respect. Okay, so this is what we're talking about here. Um, he had parents who were going through this crazy cycle of, it wasn't that they didn't ultimately deeply love one another. They just didn't know how to break out of that cycle. But you see what happened to him, even to this day. He said that because of what happened, it's the sadness and it's so deep. The things that happen are so etched into his soul because of what they went through, what he went through growing up. And so we gotta realize that also not just are you hurting yourself and hurting your marriage when you stay in this crazy cycle, but if you have children, you're also hurting them. And I don't think he's like,
So true.
uh, I don't think
And
he's
that's so
just,
true. That is so good.
yeah. I don't think that he's just, I don't think this is just something that we can, I don't think this is just an isolated instance. I believe this happens all the time in households all around the world, and they just don't realize the effects that that is being placed on their children, on their offspring. What do you have to say about that, Tiff?
I definitely agree. I definitely agree with you. I definitely agree with you in that. Yeah, you. A lot of times, when you have these situations where you have toxicity in your household because you're not communicating and giving the person, your spouse, what they need. It doesn't just affect you. And like he said, I have often shared that our decisions don't just affect us; they affect those around us and connected to us. And we have to be mindful of that, regardless of if they're there present or not. I don't know any decision in our lives that really has an effect those connected to us. When you really think about it, whether it's an immediate effect or a long term effect, or but there's an effect. And so I was just, just in reading this and hearing his heart. He went to bed until age 11 because of that, and the thing about it, he said it was permanently etched in his soul. So that's really, very, very traumatic. That's and if we don't get the revelation and really understand what each other needs, though, this is what will happen. We'll see this, and then we teach children dysfunctional patterns and
Mm,
dysfunctional behavior, and it becomes reciprocated in their lives. It becomes a thing that they repeat in their lives because that's all they've seen and that's all they know. Until you get to a place where of understanding where he got to say, "Oh, it's a better way."
right.
She needs love and I need respect. Vice versa, and I'm speaking just from his perspective, not, but as a woman, I need love, and as a man, you need respect. And so it's just it's really one of those things that really kind of helps you to open your eyes, really. If you really have love and care and respect and concern for your children, you don't want them wounded, and you don't want them wounded in this way, because a lot of times it takes what you're going through may take your child a lifetime to recover from. And you're thinking, oh, and then y'all have gone on, and sometimes you can see they don't grow from that place. But when some couples do grow from that place, but the children are still having the effects of it into their adulthood, and navigating their own relationships and learning life. So it behooves us to really get to a place of understanding, to say that there has to be a better way, and then to make intentional and deliberate steps in walking out that better way.
Mm, yeah, that's it. That's it. He goes on further to say down toward the bottom of that same page on page 8. He says, I sensed during my childhood that I can clearly see now that both of my parents were reacting to each other defensively. Their problem was they could offend each other most easily, but they had no tools to make a few minor adjustments that could turn off their flamethrowers.
Mm.
And so that was the biggest thing. That was a big takeaway that I had from that, was that we have to watch how we got to make sure we don't stay on that cycle. I mean, you may get on the cycle, but I pray that something from this will help us to see that it's not. We got to get off the crazy cycle and stay off of it as much as possible, so that we can make way for this new generation that's coming behind us. And maybe you didn't know before, but you know now, and you're recognizing some things. And we're going to be continuing to talk about how to get off of the crazy cycle. But um, I just wanted to point that out. How much more time do we have? We want to go, because we got some more sections we can go through.
Yeah, we have we have some more minutes, but
You saw
that's
something else you wanted to?
I was just thinking about what he said about their problem was they could offend each other most easily, but they had no tools to make a few minor adjustments that could turn off their flamethrowers. That's an interesting use of words, and and if we're not careful, it is very easy to offend. It's
Hmm.
very easy to offend if we're not careful and if we're not intentional.
Right.
Um, and operating in love and respect. It's very easily to offend, but we do need tools in our arsenal to help us to not be in that place of flame throwing, as
Yes,
as he said. And so I'm very thankful for the book by Dr. Emerson, and excited to share this with the audience. I think it will be a blessing. I know it will be a blessing to so many.
yes, yes, yes. Um, I'm gonna so there was another area, a section that's on around page 10. He talks about you can be right but wrong at the top of your voice.
Mm-hmm.
And
Interesting.
so I thought this was a very interesting one as well. So we were talking about he was talking about how, his wife Sarah is his wife's name, and he does a lot of stories during in the book, but they drive home such amazing points.
Mm-hmm.
So he's talking here. He says, "I didn't respond." Let me see if I can find a spot to go in here at. So he was saying that one night when they were driving home from a small group Bible study, that Sarah expressed some strong feelings that had been building up in her for several weeks. And you were boring. She told him that he was boring in the Bible study tonight, and she said it in an angry way. And she said, you intimidate people with your silence, and when you do talk, you sometimes say something insensitive. She said, what you said to the new couple came across poorly. And then he was like, I was taking a bat, but tried to defend himself. He said, what are you talking about? I was trying to listen to people and understand what they were saying. And Sarah went up. She went from, I guess, wherever she was, 5 or 6, and she went up to 10. And he said, you need to make people feel more relaxed and comfortable. And then he said they went up some more, and she just kept going up and up. And she was almost shouting, don't be so into yourself, she said. I didn't respond for a few seconds, he says, but I was feeling down, not only by what she had said, but by her demeanor and her tone. And I replied, Sarah, you can be right, but wrong at the top of your voice. So, basically, he's more like
Ooh, that's a
chilled
good
and
one.
kind of calm. Huh?
That's a good one. Oh, that's a good one.
and and she's like going up and up and up and up. And so he's kind of like he's kind of, at this place here. So he goes on to say, down a little further, he says that early episode in our marriage planted more seeds of what I would later be able to describe
Wait,
and
I don't know what.
articulate.
Um, Go ahead. I don't know
Can you
what
hear me?
happened. It kind of went in and out. Our thing kind of went in and out.
Oh, okay. Um, but all I did was I dropped down a little bit further, and so he says down the last paragraph, at the page 11, he says, um, that early episode in our marriage planted more seeds of what I would later be able to describe and articulate. I knew Sarah loved me, and her outburst was caused by her desire to help me. And that was a good one because, we got to always examine motive, the motive, even though she was going up and up and up and up and on 10 and 20, he later recognized that she was just trying to help. She wanted me to appreciate her concern and understand that she was only doing it out of love. But the bottom line was I felt disrespected, attacked, and defensive. So I think that happens a lot, and it may be vice versa. It may not always be the wife that's talking and more emotionally involved. It may be vice versa, but the whole point here is that um there's another case of where he the man is in this case feeling disrespected. Um, Apparently the wife felt like he was insensitive, and so she was trying to get him to see where he was and to make some change. So what do you have to say about that?
I just thought that it was good that she also that he shared that in the paragraph right below it, that she recalls that conversation that night in the car was life changing for her. She may have been accurate in her assessment of how he was acting, but her delivery was overkill.
Mm,
And so, yeah, we may be accurate in our, assessment of how someone was acting or doing, or how our spouse was responding or doing something, but our delivery sometimes can be overkill in trying to get the point across. And so we
right.
have to be mindful of that. Yeah, you can be right but wrong at the top of your voice. Not, I like that. I like that. That you can be right, but you can be wrong at the top of your voice. And so, how are you saying it? Does it really require all of that to get your point across? Can it? Is there a better way to deliver what you're trying to get your spouse to understand?
Wow.
But
That's
she got it. She recognized that, and he said that it was life changing for her. It was life
mhm,
changing for her. So, and that's the whole thing about it. We have to be open enough to hear even in something that may be correct in our assessment of it. Did we say it the right way?
mhm,
Did we use the right approach in, you know, speaking the truth to our
mhm.
spouse? Yeah. So that's good.
That's good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was good. That was good. She wanted me to appreciate her concern and understand that she was only doing out of love. But the bottom line was I felt disrespected. Okay, so yeah, she I think she was had good intentions because she just wanted him to respond better, but it was just the way that we do things and the way that we proceed to handle things. I think we just have to be mindful of that and check ourselves at every point. And I just think that was just important there. Um, you want to do another one?
I think we can stop here and we can just pick it up again. We'll just continue our conversation at the next discussion. We
Okay, okay,
we can stop here.
okay. All right.
Did you want to do another one?
That's fine because I gotta. There's a few other things that are on the agenda here, but yeah, we can definitely pick it back up. So I think the first thing we're talking about is being mindful of our decisions and how they will cause a ripple effect in our families. So the first again, we went to chapter one today. The title was "The Simple Secret to a Better Marriage," and we're talking about our decisions and how they don't just affect us, but they're affecting even our children. So just stay out of the crazy cycle. If not for anything else, we don't want to perpetuate craziness, in our homes. And then also, we got to watch how we articulate things because we could be even if we're right as far as the principle that we're conveying, we don't we can be wrong. We can be wrong in how we present it and how we voice things and how we act and respond. So yes. So anything you want to?
No, I think that's good. I really that's the thing. You can be right but wrong at the top of your voice. That kind of just sticks out at you.
Yes,
And so we have to be mindful of that. Yeah, you could be right, but you could be wrong at the top of your voice. So what has that really done for the situation, or how has that helped either of us?
yes,
If we're right, but then we've offended our spouse in the process of being right by how we said it.
yes,
Yeah. So just have to be mindful of those things. And the good thing about it is we grow. We grow each day, we learn each day, and we get better. And we make an intentional effort to be better and to love and respect more each day. That's the thing.
yes,
We're intentional. Be intentional in that.
yes, yes, yes. So very good, very good. So we are.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. So just we're praying for marriages. If y'all have anything, don't forget to put your responses in the chat. We love to hear from you, and we'll be back on. When are we coming back on? I know next Monday.
Definitely next Monday, but we may be back on Thursday if you want to continue it on Thursday. We may just stick to Mondays. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, so definitely by next Monday. So, y'all, let's fill the room up. This is really good conversation, and again, we appreciate you all for coming on today. And if those of you who will watch later, and we love you guys. Have a great rest of your day or evening, and we're praying for you.
Amen. Thank you all so much. If you notice any problems with our reception, please excuse us. We're both not in the same location. God bless you all, and thank you for so much. We pray that your week has started beautifully. We love you all. Bye
God bless
bye.
you. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.